everyone, and welcome back to Wicked Art. This is Wicked here again, and it is Fun Draw Friday. So that means we're going to take a little break from our usual assignments and homework on learning how to draw and just have some fun today and just draw something random, okay? So, what you'll need today is either a mechanical pencil or your basic number two. It doesn't matter. And as always, I like to keep myself a little extra eraser just in case, but you don't need that as long as you have an eraser on your pencil. But we are going to get started. I am going to draw probably one of my favorite characters of all time from Dragon Ball Z. So we're going to go with that genre today. Alright, so we're going to be drawing Vegeta. I'm probably going to be drawing him in his Super Saiyan Blue form. We won't be coloring it today, but we might shade it a little bit. But the basic is just to learn how to draw it, okay? So, first things first is I personally, that's just me. I always like to start with the head, okay? I just think the head really tells the story of a character and gives you an idea of who and what they are, okay? So, just like last week when we did Jack, I'm going to start by sketching. Now again, I'm going to press a little harder just so that and make sure you can see it. But I'm going to just start with a circle. Okay, now some of you that may be drawn Dragon Ball before, you may already know the basic layout and stuff, but I'm still just going to take you through the process of how to at least basically set it up. So I'm just going to start with a circle. The circle usually represents just the front part of the head up to down about around the nose area. And then I'm going to do light. Now remember, draw lightly. All this is light until we're putting in the final lines in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put down a line that goes down the center of my circle. Okay, I'm going to extend it past my circle, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start setting up the side of the head. Okay, but before I want to do that, I want to get my eye line in here. Now, I don't know if y'all have ever noticed before, but my boy Vegeta here has a very high widow's peak and forehead. So our eye line is not going to be up here. He's got some forehead size, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that across right through here. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start building the side of his face. So I'm going to come in here to the side where my eye line is, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of bring down a shape of a line that comes at an angle. Okay, so I'm not going straight down, I'm coming inward at an angle, because most of Dragon Ball style comes to a very fine point at the chin. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set that up. And then what I'm going to do from there is kind of do like our mirror drawing that I've been showing you. I'm going to start at the corner and start rounding in, okay, on both sides. And then I'm just going to go ahead and just bring it down. I'm going to go back and forth so that I make sure that I meet myself in the middle somewhat evenly, okay, and then just round it out just slightly. I know it can kind of look triangular, but there is a slight rounding down there at the bottom. Okay, so now that I have that, that's kind of my chin line, I have that established, I can go ahead and erase out this bottom part of the circle. And remember, if ever you feel like this is going too fast for you, you can pause the video and just play catch up. Okay, so this right here is going to represent that kind of that high line of because Vegeta is usually kind of scowling a little bit with his eyebrows turned in. So this is going to represent like the high point of my eyebrows a little bit. So the bridge of my nose, I'm going to go ahead and come down here and add in another line to represent kind of more like where my bottom portion of my eyes and the bridge of his nose is going to be at. So I'm just going to put a tiny line here for my eyes. Then I'm going to come down here for like the bottom of his nose. I'm just going to shift down a little bit. Then move down a little bit more and have a spot for my mouth. Okay. So now that that's set up, I can come in here and start changing some things. So if you look, I got this really huge forehead. We're going to fix that later. Okay. But for now, at least I have the basics set up. Right. So I can start here in the middle where like my bridge line would be. And I'm going to go ahead and make that little area, and you can draw it a little dark. Just don't do it too hard in case you mess up and you want to refix it. But I'm going to make this slight little curve here for the little scowl on his face. Okay. And then that gives me some room to come out here where his eyebrow is. So I'm going to sketch me a little line right here. So Dragon Ball eyebrows, they usually have a very thin tip to the front area towards the nose, and then it kind of widens out as it goes. So I have me this little line here. Now I can go ahead and start working it back. And if you notice, I'm kind of curving a little bit and then bringing it back again. Okay. So I'm going to hold this shape here for the bottom of the eyebrow. Then I'm going to come back to this point here, but I'm not going to start up here at the top. I'm going to go ahead and shift down. Okay, and then I'm going to try to run parallel right here. So see how thin I've kept it right here? I'm going to keep it thin to a point, to just about where it curves right here. And then I'm going to spread it out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and arch it higher and take it back, and then just go ahead and connect it right here. Okay, so that takes care of one side of our eyebrow. I need to now do the other. Alright, so I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to put a little line here. Now we're not going to really put in this second part. We could if we wanted to, but we're not going to, just because I don't know if y'all ever heard, but sometimes the phrase less is more is a little bit better for us, because if I did both sides, it kind of looked like he's got weird fish hooks coming off. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with the eyebrow line here. Alright, so again, I'm going to start with the bottom half, so I'm going to keep it close. I'm going to make that same shape. I'm going to kind of curve it up a little and then arch it over. Okay, so now that that's set up, I can come back, and remember, we're going to keep it skinny at the start. As I work my way up towards the curve, I'm going to then take it and spread it out some more. And so now I have two eyebrows drawn for me. Okay. Now that that's set up, Vegeta's eyebrows usually tend, especially even with Goku or Piccolo or anybody who is not smiling or excited about something, their eyes are a lot smaller than you think. Okay. So the way the Dragon Ball style does is they don't start way up here. They're actually extending their eyes. Their eyebrows are really long compared to, real human stuff. So I'm going to come back some, and I'm going to draw a tiny line on both sides. So I'm going to switch sides. I'm going to draw a tiny line on both sides. Okay. Then I'm going to arch it. Let's see if I can keep my hand out of the way for you. I'm going to arch it backwards just a little bit. Okay. Then this is where we can get bigger. So Vegeta, because he's more of an evil villain, things are more angular, where like Goku would probably have like a rounded shape. I'm going to continue keeping it angular that way. Okay, so then I can jump to the other side, and again, you can pause this if you need to. I'm going to make that same shape. I'm going to round it back first. Okay, then I'm going to angle it up that way. Alright, now when it comes to the eyes, nobody's eye is completely visible, right? Unless like with Goku, when he's in a good mood, you can see him. But in real life, the way Vegeta's eye is used most time when he's scowling, you can't see the full circle, right? So I can come over here to this side, and I can slide up the eyebrow some, and we're going to come about to this area, and I'm going to draw me a little circle here to represent his eye. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side over here. Just draw me a little circle. Again, because he's not a villain per se, more of an anti-hero. But usually narrower, smaller eyes are more of a villainous look for them. Okay? So, now that I have the eyes set up, I'm going to go ahead and do our typical Dragon Ball details with a few extra lines. So like the top of the brow shape that we have up there, we can start here like where our angle is, if I just move back some, I can now arch up this way and put a line there. I can put another line for the center because, like I said, he's got a large forehead, so to just kind of fill the space some, they usually draw him that way. And then I'm going to come over and do another one on this side. Now I want to kind of come up, so if I just kind of take my pencil and come up, and not, because remember, we don't want everything to be exactly the same, we want it to be a little different. So I'm going to draw back that way. Okay, now if you've ever looked closely at Vegeta's head, he's got these like curving cranky, he's got that bulbous forehead. I guess good for headbutting, I guess. But we can use our eyebrow ends as a base for that. So I can come over here to the end right here and kind of come off at an angle and then make a slight turn. Okay, then I can come over here to this side and do the same thing, except this time, because again, we don't want everything to be the same, I'm just going to kind of curve this way here. Alright, and the reason why I'm doing that first is this now allows me to start reshaping the head and getting that hair in there as well. So he's got this, the way their sideburns are drawn, they're like a hard rectangle shape, so I can come in on both sides over here and start with a line. Okay, and then they have this kind of triangle shape that goes back, right? So I can go on both sides and do that. I can draw this triangle shape. Alright, and now I could just take this and start curving, but then we're going to get a little uneven. So I actually want to start using this center line. So I want to like make a little space right here and start here. I'm going to curve back at an angle this way and then curve back at an angle this way. Alright, now I can go back and forth and work my way around. So this is going to continue. This is going to continue to arch around. Okay, as it arches, it's going to curve back inward towards this little triangle we just made. So if you need to, you can jump down here and kind of meet it in the middle. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to start arching it back and curve around towards that angle and come inward. So once you have those, you can go back and refine those lines by making them darker. Okay, so if you notice, mine's a little bit taller on this side. Again, it's not that big of a deal. It's just like a drawing for beginners type thing. Alright, so now that I have that, I can get rid of some of this cluster in here with all these extra lines. Excuse me. So I can erase those and then erase these on the side. Then I can erase the ones in the middle. Now this is me not using a reference, so if I was using a reference I could probably make easier adjustments, but we're trying to learn how to just build it up ourselves. Okay, so now that I have this angular part here, I can now follow along down the side of my head and I can darken this area up and do the same thing down towards the chin and round it. Come to the other side, I can angle down this way and then come inward down towards the chin again. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and come in here and do his nose. Now Vegeta's got a lot of detail when he scowls. Okay, so what we're going to do is right up underneath these the part of his eyebrow here where it touches and meets, we're going to come down and put a little line right here, just like we did across. Okay, and then I'm going to stretch me a line this way and stretch me a line this way. These are those little wrinkles that would end up on his nose from kind of curving his face in. Okay, but before I finish the nose, I want to go ahead and add that one other detail that Dragon Ball has, and that's that little line that goes under the eye. So I'm going to go ahead and move over from this point. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of curve and draw a line. And then look, I'm going to make another line that comes out this way, and then another smaller one right here. Okay, so you have 3 sets of lines that go out. Now, again, we don't want to do the same thing on each side because we're not symmetrical on each side of the face. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to make that same first initial part. I'm going to go ahead and make a tiny curve right here like this, right? And then I'm going to stretch it out some. I'm going to move, not draw, but I'm going to move over and go ahead and draw me a line like this with kind of a curve to it. Then go slightly above it and add another. Okay, so now that I have that set up, I can go ahead and move down towards the nose. So we got these 2 first wrinkles. I'm going to go ahead and put one more tiny wrinkle here. Okay, and then I'm going to jump to the other side, and I'm going to curve a longer line going down this way. Okay, so now that I have that, I can start building that nose shape. So their noses are more like based off of triangles if you really look at it. This one's more of like a rectangular triangle, so I can come straight first, right? Then I can take it and I can curve backwards like that. Okay, then I'm going to put a slight line that comes out right here. It kind of represents his nostril. Now if you were to shade it in and stuff, that stuff with the cell shading that's in DBZ stands out a lot more to show you why they have all this line work in the way they do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move down to my mouth line. Okay, I'm going to start here in the middle with a straight line that comes out. Then I'm going to kind of put this little like crooked arch right here, almost like a triangle. Alright, and then come to the other side and curve a little line down that way. Alright, then we have our chin line, which is right underneath. It almost helps form our lip and our chin at the same time. Okay, and then just for a little extra detail, because usually it looks like he's kind of pushing his face towards the side, making like a little smirk sometimes, stuff like that. We're going to put like a little line right over here on the side. Okay, so now that I have my whole face set up, I can clean it up. Okay, you can use your pencil, you can use your regular eraser. It just depends on what you prefer. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to erase that out. I'm just going to go through and get rid of all of my sketchy lines. And again, if you need to pause the video until you're done cleaning it up to get started again, that is fine. Okay, any lines that you may have accidentally erased, you can feel free to go in there and redraw back, but we should have drawn them dark enough they shouldn't fade, but just in case they did, you can easily go back and just go over it again and draw it again. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all this excess. Okay, so now I have me a perfectly established face. I mean, I say the word perfect, but you know, nothing's ever truly perfect. But what I like to do next is I like to go ahead and do the ears. Now, in real life, the way the ears are visible from the front are not quite the same as they are in real humans. But again, we're drawing a cartoon, so I'm going to start on the left side of my face. I'm going to use this right here. See our little angled line here? I'm going to use this to stretch out and round right here at the top. Okay, now again, so that I don't overdo stuff, I like to come down and kind of mirror draw and meet in the middle. So I have the corner of my jawline here. I'm going to go ahead and round a small piece out here as well. Okay, and then if you ever notice the cartoons, they kind of come up and angle. So we're going to stretch it out this way. Alright, once I get to about halfway, I'm going to go ahead and turn it upwards like this. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in all that detail. I could just go ahead and draw the other side, but I like to go ahead and take care of it because it's pretty simplistic, right? So we have that top fold of our ear. So if we just start here at the top, okay, and we sketch ourselves a line it comes down to about here and then just curve it in. This is that top portion of our ear starting to come down. And then we're going to have a slight line that curves out this way. Then we're going to add a shorter one right inside here. And now this little hook that we made here, okay, I'm going to move up a little bit from that. And I'm going to come out first, just like that. Then I'm going to round it in this way. Alright, I'm going to put a slight little bump right here. And then I'm going to put a line that kind of crosses in front of that. Okay, then we can put one more tiny little detail, like right here's our ear point. So I can come down here off the face and put like a tiny curved line right here. So that takes care of the ear on that side of the face. And I'm going to basically repeat the same process on the other side. Now, if you've ever looked closely at a drawing of Vegeta or anything, the ears are actually not very even. So if this doesn't turn out even as far as height and length down goes, it's okay. Alright, so again, I'm going to use this curve here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to round out. Okay, I'm going to come down my face just before the corner of the jaw. I'm going to move back up some, and I'm going to round out this way. And again, I'm going to try to meet myself in the middle, come up about halfway here, and then start taking it up this way. Okay, so now I can do the same thing. I got the top ridge of my ear here. Then I'm going to draw my slight little line that comes out here. Then one more little curve here. Then I'm going to shift down. Remember, we don't want anything the same, so you can think of different pattern shapes that you can use with this. Okay, so I'm just going to have like a random line coming out here, and then draw the shape of my ear this way. And the reason they do that is for the suggestion of shadow, the way the light hits. Okay, so I'm going to draw another line in here, and I'm just going to simply wrap around and go that way. Okay, now I have my head set up and established the way that I want. Okay, now I'm going to do the hair last. I don't know why, it's just a thing of mine. I like to do the hair last. So we're going to go ahead and build out the body some more. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start my neckline right below this curve right here at the jaw. Okay, so I'm going to bring a line down, come over to the other side, again doing our mirror drawing, but because our body's going to be slightly turned, our neck's not going to start here at the jaw. It's actually going to start here under our ear. So I'm going to bring that out that way too. Okay, now Vegeta's clothes that we're going to do is more of his traditional Dragon Ball Super one. So it's going to be that Whis outfit. So he has a high neck piece that actually comes under his chin. So I'm going to start right here at the chin and come up some and just kind of curve it back towards that line. I'm going to go to the other side. Again, follow that jawline up a little bit and then just curve it back. Right? So that'll help establish that part of the neck. Now, we are going to continue the neck down into the muscle area. Okay, so the way I can do that is I can set up my neck, chest, and body area. So I've already got my neck established. Now we have this hanger shape, right? Because especially in Dragon Ball, they have these huge trapezius muscles, which is that part that comes off the neck. So I'm going to go ahead and lightly sketch me the bottom shape of a hanger. Okay, so notice I'm doing that lightly, so it almost looks like a hanger right here, and what that does is help establish that region there. Okay, once I do that, then I can come in and build up the shape of the chest, right? So if this is my neck, my chest and collarbone and stuff are going to start down here. So again, our body's going to be turned a little, so our chest on this side, we're going to draw a basic just shape for it. Okay, so I'm going to sketch a basic chest shape. just going to be a placeholder for our chest. And I'm going to draw the other on this side, which won't be as big. Okay, so I'm just going to sketch me real quick, shape like that, and just come out from the center here. I could probably actually, let's bring that out just a little bit more. Okay. So I have a basic foundation for my chest. I also have to bring in the shoulder region, so I'm going to need to bring this out just a little bit more. This is why we sketch lightly. That way if we mess up, we can erase stuff, okay? Excuse me. Now I'm going to come in here. I'm going to draw my shoulder shape, okay? So I'm going to come right off this neckline right here, and I'm going to sketch out the shape of your shoulder, which is rounded, all right? But we have these different muscle groups on our head that are called heads on our like triceps and our shoulders. So I'm just going to set up these different shapes on here to help me out. And I'm going to bring this in front of the chest a little bit. So this is just a basic setup. Okay, now on the other side I won't be able to see much of the shoulder, but I can at least get that shape in there. Okay, and then I can continue with the rest of the body. Alright, so I'm just going to come with a basic line that comes and kind of angles downward, then come over here to the other side. We're going to just go ahead and draw probably the bicep, because that's probably going to be in the way. So let's just draw the basic shape of that bicep right here. Let's just make this arching shape and just kind of sketch that. Okay, it's not going to be our final thing. But the reason why we do that is we have the back that comes in right here. So I want to kind of stretch it and curve it right here. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of round it here at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to curve it this way all the way across and just meet it. Okay, and then I can come over here on this side. Remember, pause the video if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and draw my bicep in on this side, and it's just going to kind of come down straight at first and then just kind of rounds in. Okay, once I do that, I'm then going to take to a forearm point, probably just right here, because like I said, we're not going to draw everything, it's just probably the torso. So once I have that, I have a basic foundation set up. I can now do a basic tricep shape over here. Okay, then I'm going to have kind of like my extra third head that comes out back behind there. Okay, and a little tiny elbow slot right here, and then continue the forearm out. I'm going to come to this side and do the same. This will curve in, and then we'll have a slight curve here, and then again just kind of taking that over exaggerated forearm and bringing it out. Okay, now we can come in and start adding the detail that we need. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is start setting up his outfit that he wears. Alright, so now that I have this right here, I'm going to go ahead and put a little, come back up here to the neck, put a little line that kind of comes in this way. Alright, then I'm going to continue that line down towards the chest and just kind of stop right there. Alright, then I'm going to jump to the other side and do the same thing. I'm going to kind of round it in, bring it in a little bit farther this time. Okay, then I'm going to take this trap muscle and kind of straighten it a little bit to about right here. Now what I want to do, let's just erase that back some. Okay, what I want to do is start building up that vest that he wears, his armor. So I'm going to stretch that out down towards the chest. Okay, but we're going to cut down into it this way. Okay, so we're going to kind of cross in front of it. So once you have that set up, we can kind of start curving it this way, right? And then bring it back to the other side like this. Okay. Now once we're back there, I'm going to make a little circular shape just like this and make the ridge of his vest. So I'm just going to go back around parallel. Okay. Go back around parallel and just follow it around, keeping it close but not touching. And go to the other side and make it round that way. Okay. So that's going to be the setup for our vest. Now I can come in here to this point right off the neck and make a slight adjustment this way, and then clean up around that area that I've just drawn. Now I can go ahead and darken this part of the chest, darken that up, and then clean it, and then just come to the other side and darken that up as well, clean it up. Okay. Then I can go back over my lines, darken those up since we know that's where they're going to be at. And then I can clean up inside of it. So any of that sketchy line work that I have, go ahead and clean that out. Same thing with the chest area, anything inside there that's still a little sketchy, clean that out. We can probably go back over our line as well. So this is where we're at right now. Okay. Now I need to start building up the rest of his chest armor plate. Okay. So I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to stretch out just a tad. Just from there, I'm just going to darken a line. Then I'm going to curve a line down towards his chest muscle right here. Okay, so I'm just going to make a slight curve right here, and then go ahead and close off that line on the chest. And since I know now that's where that's going, I can go ahead and darken down to this point right here. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here, and there's a reason for that. Then I'm going to give this another edge right over here. Okay, so that'll be the outlying piece that connects to his shoulder. So I'm going to make a slight adjustment on that shoulder. I'm still going to bring it out, but I'm going to shorten it a little bit and bring it back in. So I'm going to darken that. So now that I've done that, I can clean up that old shoulder around it. Probably come back up in here, clean out that piece too. Okay, now I'm going to start right here. Okay, but we want this because they're not actually touching right here in the center. So let's do this. Let's erase out this little line and leave a gap right here in the center of the chest. Alright, so let's come down in here and follow that down. Once we get to this point, we're going to go ahead and turn it. Okay, because it's a lot sharper image that way. And now I can readjust my chest right here. So I can erase that little tail line I got and clean up everything inside of here. Have a nice open one. Alright, come right down here off the edge right here and just follow it back up to this point. Now I'm not going to connect it to anything. I'm just going to stop with this little edge line that we have right here and then just move over. Okay, so once you have that, we're going to move over here and we're going to curve it down this way. Alright, and then I'm going to take it back towards here, but I don't want to do that yet because I still have this shoulder piece to take care of. So let's just go ahead and jump over here and just kind of darken a line up about this long right here, and let's go ahead and bring this in. Okay, so I'm going to wrap around my shoulder just like this. Okay, I'm going to put another little curved piece off of it and follow that around as well. Alright, so let's just bring it down. and then erase out and clean up inside the middle of that shape that we just made. Now I can use this to kind of help me. So the way his outfit is set up, he's got like this brown shoulder piece where it kind of separates the chest. So I can use this right here for that chest shape, and I can just curve it this way. Okay. Then I can erase and clean up that whole area so it looks a lot cleaner and nicer. Right? Okay, now I can continue this. So I can continue this down towards the part of the shoulder that curves in, which means I can now extend this down as well, and then I can kind of cut it off right here and then just clean up the inside. Okay, so now I'm going to start right here at this point. This is where I was talking, we can come in. So I'm going to kind of angle this down like an arch that arches upward. So we're not curving in, we're kind of arching upward to a point to like down in here. Okay, once I reach that, I'm going to now curve up this way. Alright, so that just leaves this connecting piece. So I can curve this and keep it parallel. And then just follow it around. And now that that's done, I can take whatever eraser I want, it doesn't matter, and clean that up, that whole area. Okay, this part in the middle here, clean it up as best as you can. And that finishes that chest piece, and then we can add Weese's symbol in here. Okay, so we're going to just start with a curve, like we're making a spiral. We'll stop there. Okay, and then all it does is shoot straight out that way. Alright, so then you can kind of go back over that and thicken it up a little bit if you want. It's up to you. It's your symbol, it's your drawing. You can make it as thick or as thin as you want. I'm going to thicken mine up. Okay, I'm going to take it around, and now I got Weese's symbol. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I want to start adding some detail on this shoulder. Now Dragon Ball is highly exaggerated, so the muscles are a little bit bigger on certain characters. So like I'm going to take this and kind of curve up right here. Okay, then we're going to bring our head down much lower. Okay, so we're going to curve down this way first, then we're going to stretch it out this way. Okay, and then do a sharp curve back. Okay, and we can stretch that all the way up. Alright, now I can come out here to the side, come down, and round it out. Now to keep it even, I'm going to start back over here so that I can stretch it better. Okay, now I can come and clean up all that mess on the inside. So you can see how big the shoulder is if you actually watch the show and stuff. Vegeta's got some huge shoulders for some weird reason, I don't know, but I think it looks cool at the end of the day, so it's not that big a deal. Alright, so now that we have that set up, I can come in here and I can darken my bicep shape. So let's go ahead and bring that down. Go ahead and darken that up. Nice solid line work. Okay, then because Dragon Ball likes to draw almost every detail of it, we're going to start up here at the top, and I'm going to bring this down and just stop just before it. Okay, so that's going to be my bicep shape, right? Then I can darken up this tricep head, and then darken up this third one here. Alright, then I can come down here to the elbow, and let's bring that forearm out just a little bit and curve that elbow in, make our connection piece, and then our other forearm here. Okay, so now I have that done, I can start working on this area here. So I'm going to start here where my little rounded part is. I want to start slightly inside of it, and I'm just going to bring it straight down to this point. So I can go ahead and darken that line there, right? But he has this little like armor plate that goes across here. So we're going to come down here to this part of the chest where it comes down, and I'm going to shoot it at an angle this way, straight down. Okay, then all I have to do is make these little arches that go across. Right? So I can darken those up if I want to now that I have them set up. But if you ever notice on his vest, all these little curved pieces that we have going on, it's the same thing where it cuts off at his waistline. So I'm just going to draw two coming off like this so I can keep it even, and go across so I can meet in the middle, and then that allows me to darken up my old line work with that and curving that back. Okay, so now that everything's dark up in here, I can come in here and just go through, and any of my sketchy line work I can clean that up. Okay, so just go throughout your picture, and again, while you're doing your cleanup, if I start drawing again, just pause the video and make sure that you're caught up. Okay, so let's just get all that out of there. Just go through, find any spots that are loose, clean it up so that it's nice and solid. Okay, now it just leaves this side of our picture. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw this down. Cut off his bicep right here, and I'm going to make his other part of his forearm, and we're just going to leave it there. So now that that's all done, again, if you find spots that you need to clean up, just go through. But we have forgot something. Remember I said I was going to go back at the end and do the hair last, right? So I'm going to come back up here to the top of my head. Okay, now most people when they draw Dragon Ball, they try to go outside and work all of it. Now, does that mean you can't start that way? No, I usually find that when you do the hair closest to the ear first, that's fine, but then you need to kind of build out the shapes from there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and come over here to the ear right here. Okay, I'm going to go and curve out and then make myself an angle shape. It comes back this way. Okay, I'm going to touch right here on the ear, and then I'm going to kind of round this direction and come up. Alright, then let's just bring it back some, but I need to stop here. There's a reason. If I continue to go this way, you're going to unevenly do the rest of the hair. Now, you might be skilled enough that you can do it. Me personally, I don't take that risk. So I'm going to go back to my mirror drawing. I'm going to come down here to the bottom of the ear. I'm going to come out here and angle me out another one on this side of his head. This one I'm going to bring and stop about right here. Okay, so once I have that angle, I'm going to cut in front of it. I'm going to come up and then round it upwards. Okay, so I'm going to continue up and then bring it back in like this. Okay, so that's the part where I'm going to stop at on the side so that I don't get it uneven. So the way that I can fix this to not get too uneven is I can now start with that centerpiece he has in his head. So let's go ahead and come up this much on the forehead. We're going to go straight first, then kind of angle inward, okay, and then kind of turn this way. Alright, now I'm going to come to the other side so I can keep it even. I'm going to come out about the same side of the head, and I'm going to go up first, angle inward, and then come to a point. Okay, so since he is Super Saiyan Blue, we can see a lot more details, not just the black hair outline. Alright, So now what I can do is now I can start working my way out to these points now that I have a cutoff for where the center of the head is. So like right here, I know that another piece needs to come out. So I'm going to go ahead and move here on his head and round this way like that, and start bringing it up, and then angle it going straight up this way. Okay, then I'm just going to bring it down a little bit. Right, now I'm going to jump to the other side and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come in here to this part of the forehead. I'm going to kind of cut into where this is touching. Alright, and then we're going to stretch it out just a little bit taller, and then I'm going to come in. Okay, now I can come here to the forehead again. I'm going to come probably a little bit farther than halfway, probably right here. We're going to start this way. Okay, then I'm going to go upwards with it. Then I'm going to turn it at an angle. Okay, now I've already got this area as the centerpiece, so I need to kind of stop here and come down just a little bit, just like I did over here. Okay, now we can establish a line that comes kind of halfway. Okay, so I'm going to come here, then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to come up. Okay, now see, I'm running off my page here. That's fine. It's whatever. If you got space, you can fit it. If not, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just know it would come to a point up here off the top, and that's just fine. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come here, except this time when I touch, my angle is going to go a little sharper and higher this way, and then it's going to start turning up towards where the top of his head would be. Okay, and then this is where we get to come in and add all that hair detail in there. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to come down a little bit and add some detail here, a little hair piece, maybe extend it up a little farther. Okay, I can come in here and add another line that comes down this way, right, and then maybe run another line that comes off here and come down here in the head, add a few extra lines. So if you notice, we're not doing a ton, right? We're not going to put a bunch of lines in here because sometimes less is more. So now I can come in here, add an extra angle, just kind of play around a little bit sometimes and just see what works best for you. Okay, so I'm going to come off probably right here and add me something. I'll go ahead and come in here, add me another one that comes off right here. Jump over this hair, we'll add a piece that kind of comes off this way. Okay, and then maybe branch one off here and then run one down all the way. Okay, then I can add me another piece that kind of curves up, tinier piece here. Okay, and come over to this corner, drop down, come off the side of the head here, maybe put one more here, and then we'll run one off the side here and then one off the bottom. Now I can go to the other side and kind of repeat the same process. Okay, so I want to take it and find certain areas that look like they just need a piece of hair in it, you know, like a line work anyway. So that's how you can start telling, is if it gets too bunched up and you're just running all this hair in here, well, that can kind of make it look a little weird. So just a few pieces of line work there. I'm going to jump over here, add another one there, one here, and then one coming off the bottom. Then I'm going to come out here to the ear, stretch one out, maybe put a small line there, run one more off the edge here, and then run one here, and one right here. Okay? So, when you're all done, should have yourself a nice full upper torso body of Vegeta, one of the greatest DBZ characters of all time. I hope you had some fun. I hope you learned some tricks, some techniques, and things that you can use in the future when you're drawing on your own. And that does it for Free Draw Friday. If you want to leave a comment, let me know what you think. That's fine. If you want to share your work with me on my Twitter at WickedArt5, you can do that as well. Other than that, keep practicing and keep sketching, and I will see you in the next video.